Leadership development in difficult times.
Well, we're back again, encouraging you in your leadership, personality versus character, a way of developing your leaders whilst your church is in lockdown, some of them at least shut in, but looking at creative ways to develop your leaders. So this is session 7, and this is looking at an entire dynamic which could have unseated David's kingship. What is important in the growth of a church is the quality of leaders around you. You may be a dynamic leader yourself, but if you're prepared to accept people with lower standards, lower morality standards, lower ethical standards, lower character standards, believe me, you're going to pay a price for that. So this whole study is looking at the quality of those around us as leaders. Joab was a very bad example, and yet David had to pay the consequences of that in his leadership style. He learned so that we might learn. Session 7 surrounds the text in 2 Samuel chapter 3 and in verse 39. It talks about, David says, "I am this day weak, though anointed king." And it's looking about the quality of leaders around about us. Joab had done something horrendous. You'll catch this up in the studies that are a part of chapter 7. But he'd done something quite horrendous. And what we're saying to you is the quality of leaders around you and what you allow or what happens can actually have a determining effect upon the success of your church. So we need to be extremely conscious of the quality of leaders around you. And so those of you developing as leaders, you need to recognize how important it is that you come to a higher level than where you are now, that always we are becoming more like Christ in our leadership desires and abilities. Let me give you the brief on chapter 7. It's headed the quality of leaders around you, and the subheading is, what are you developing under the acronym of LEAD? Leadership, evidences, advance, destiny. So if we're developing good leaders, that will advance our destiny. Here's the brief. Sometimes it is the stupid and ungodly actions of other leaders around you that can risk destroying your leadership potential and even your destiny. Joab's assassination of Abner put at risk David becoming a 12-tribe king, leaving David potentially as a mere one-tribe king. The quality of leaders around you is paramount to you succeeding as a leader yourself. There are 36 studies in this particular section. I'm just going to read you some of the titles. Development of sides. It's really dangerous when sides occur in church life. Another one is talking about power bases that can occur in church life. Another one's talking about vulnerability during times when there seems a lot of tension. Another one talks about developing skills. What skills do we need to develop in these difficult times? All interesting, 36 really useful, print-ready studies for your leaders. Unfortunately today, people look at the size of something, and quantity is important. But let me tell you, it's quality that's important. Joab did not have the quality that was necessary to be an exemplary leader. Do you know, in all of the mighty men of David, which is one of the chapters in the 12 chapters of these studies, in all the mighty men of David, Joab is not listed. You think, that's impossible, because he was the primary captain over much of the time. But you see, it's the quality of those around about us that's important, and we need to develop that as leaders. What I want to recommend as senior leaders is let your growing leadership beneath you, let them prove the quality of their leadership. Sometimes if you give them difficult tasks and they respond so positively, even sometimes I've known leaders give those beneath them something which seems to be below their potential, and they want to look at the attitude of how they perform. Have they got a sweet attitude, a good attitude? Hey, thanks, Pastor, I'll get that done for you. Or are they basically, oh, excuse me, I'm an assistant pastor, I shouldn't have to do that. You've got to watch. So watch the quality of those around about you, and even little things to help you gauge that, giving them responsibilities where you can check that up. Might sound sneaky, but hey, you want to develop the best leaders, you've got to actually check the quality of those around about you. You're going to find the contact details, how to get hold of the profile, introductory profile, and it will be extremely helpful to you. With it will come 3 samples, just totally free, and we'll get that to you. The email address has been on the screen, so write to us and get it.